Hey everyone, and welcome to today's explainer. I am super excited to get into this material with you because honestly, it touches on something literally all of us experience. Today, we're looking at illumination and the path to restorative healing. We're basically going to unpack those super relatable, everyday choices we make between light and darkness. And to help us visualize this, we're going to follow our little stick figure avatar. Throughout this explainer, this avatar represents you, me, and the daily journey we all take as we try to navigate our emotions, our relationships, and our spiritual well-being. So let's just dive right in.
Sometimes we become so used to pain and shame that the dark feels like home. Man, that is a heavy thought, right? But it's incredibly accurate. I mean, think about what happens when you walk into a pitch black room. At first, you can't see a single thing. It's totally disorienting. But if you sit there long enough, your eyes adjust, that darkness just becomes your new normal. And according to the source material, the exact same thing happens with our emotional and spiritual lives. When we're dealing with secrecy, or maybe a lingering heartbreak, or just deep emotional pain, we can actually grow comfortable in that shadowy place. We build walls, we get completely used to the isolation because, well, it feels predictable. It feels safe, even if it's actually hurting us.
Okay, let's move into section 1, the familiarity of darkness and hiding our wounds. The darkness basically tells us, hide your wounds. And this isn't just some abstract philosophical idea, okay? This shows up in our everyday lives in very real ways. Think about how often we do exactly this. Imagine you're at work, walking through the office, or maybe you're just sitting on a Zoom meeting. Inside, you might be going through a massive personal crisis, like maybe a relationship is falling apart or you're dealing with overwhelming anxiety. But what does the darkness tell you to do? It tells you to perform strength. It tells you to slap on a fake smile, say I'm doing great when someone asks how you are, and just shove that pain down deep where nobody can see it. But here's the catch. Hiding our wounds doesn't heal them. It literally just traps us in this toxic cycle of pretending. That brings us to section 2, defining the light and finding a path forward. To really ground our understanding of this path forward, the source material looks at a foundational text from 1 John chapter 1, verse 7. It reads, "But if we walk in the light, as he is in the light, we have fellowship with one another, and the blood of Jesus his son purifies us from all sin." Now, what's really interesting here is how light actually works. Light, just by its very nature, exposes things, right? You can't clean up a messy room if the lights are off because you simply can't see the dirt. In the exact same way, the text suggests that the light has to expose what is hurting you, what's broken, what's hidden, so that the healing can finally start. It's not about exposing you just to embarrass you. It's about exposure for the sake of true purification and connection.
Let's look at section 3, daily choices, light versus dark, and our everyday decisions.
Okay, so on the left side, we've got our default mode for when we're hurting, hiding, pretending, darkness. But then over on the right side, we have the alternative, truth, healing, peace. Walking in the light doesn't mean being perfect. It absolutely does not. It simply means making a conscious, deliberate decision to choose that right side over the left. It means choosing truth over hiding, even when it is super uncomfortable. It means choosing the messy, complicated process of healing over the totally exhausting act of pretending. And ultimately, it means choosing peace over the familiar chaos of the dark. Let's flesh out what these daily choices actually look like. Let's say a really good friend texts you and asks, "Hey, how are you really holding up?" The dark choice? That's typing back, "Oh, I'm fine, just busy." But walking in the light? That is being honest about your emotions. It's hitting reply and saying, "Actually, I'm really struggling today and I could use a friend." Walking in the light is letting God into those hidden places you've tried to keep locked behind closed doors. It's looking at some long-held grudge you have against a family member and choosing forgiveness instead of just plotting revenge or sitting in bitterness. It's a daily and honestly, sometimes hourly choice to prioritize genuine healing over just performing strength for everybody around you. Moving right along to section 4, the beautiful power of light, revealing and restoring. Remember how the darkness told us to hide? Well, the light says something completely different. It says, you can heal here. I love that. It captures this beautiful duality of the light. Yes, for sure, it reveals our hidden pain, which can be super scary at first. But it doesn't just leave us sitting there exposed. It actually restores us. The framework shows that light creates a really safe, warm sanctuary. It provides the exact environment our wounds need so they can finally breathe, be treated, and close up. When you step fully into the light, this really remarkable psychological and spiritual progression takes place. Watch what happens here. First, the confusion clears. All that mental fog you get from keeping secrets and spinning plates, It just dissipates. Second, because you aren't pretending anymore, your mind actually becomes calmer. The anxiety of being found out completely drops away. Third, your heart becomes softer. You're not operating out of this intense defensiveness and thick armor anymore, which allows you to genuinely connect with other people. And finally, step 4, your spirit becomes lighter. Think of the sheer relief, that bright, cascading release of finally dropping a heavy backpack you've been carrying for miles. That is exactly what it feels like to walk in the light. Now, the source material brings us to a really crucial point. God never abandons you in the dark places. The journey out of the darkness and into the light, it is not always easy. It takes an immense amount of courage to finally stop hiding. But when you do step into the light, it gives you this vital, retrospective perspective. You get to look back at the shadows you used to call home, and the light actually helps you see that you were never alone in them. The source reminds us that God was there the entire time, just waiting for you to be ready to step out. Which brings us to our final and definitely most important question of this explainer. Are you ready to stop running from the truth and walk toward the light? The truth is, healing doesn't start when you have everything perfectly figured out. No way. Healing starts the exact moment you make the choice to stop running. It starts the moment you finally allow yourself to walk toward the light, despite all your fears. You don't have to carry the weight of that darkness anymore. The light is waiting, and it says, you can heal here. Thank you so much for joining me as we unpacked this powerful source material today. I really hope this structured journey has given you some clarity, and more importantly, I hope it leaves you inspired to step confidently into the light.